Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the monastery, the open bar of the internet, the world's greatest shit show, and the place where we, the good brothers and sisters of this most holy of temples, seek enlightenment through the drunkest, craziest, and most batshit ways possible. I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra, and with me I have a newcomer into the temple, creator of Rise of the Red Shirts, and coming to us from Northern Wilding, the one and only Ben Edwards. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on and braving time zone hell to come to my monastery.
Yeah, well, I think it's 6 o'clock here, so I think I've got off quite light.
Yeah, I have a love-hate that's more hate than love with relationship with time zones. Some time zones are bigger offenders, like Australia's Central Time, where there's an extra 30 minutes, or St. John's Island in Canada, where there's an extra 15, where it's an hour and 15 minutes difference. Do not ask me why there's the 15 minutes. Nobody could tell me.
You asked. You went around. You asked. Not a single person could.
I'd imagine that there is a reason that it's done that way. I'd also imagine that the reason is kind of ridiculous.
Oh yeah, 100%. It'll just be for the sake of something,
or sometimes just someone being stubborn.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a tradition around here to open with the humble beginnings. So I'd like you to walk me through your introduction to English monk. Your introduction to role-playing games and what made it stick.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, I've always enjoyed drawing. It was something I ended up. I did it a lot in school. I was that kid in school who could draw. So whenever there was a drawing exercise in school, the whole class would turn around. So it was always something I enjoyed, and it was something I was good at. And then it was like in primary school, which should be like middle school. I was like the best drawer. I was the best illustrator there. I was the one who could draw, and I was like, yeah, this is great, this thing. And then I got to high school or secondary school, and there was so many more people that could draw better than me. And for some reason, that damaged my ego to the point where it was like, oh, well, I'm terrible at this. I'm not the best anymore. I should stop. So I didn't like wholeheartedly stop. I just stopped trying to pursue anything that I wanted to do with drawing. And then, so in school I wasn't sure what I wanted to do at that point. So I ended up just doing random things. Like at one point I was a fitness instructor. So I was like, yeah, I'll pursue this. And then at one point, to carry that on further, I had to like do a sports degree. And I'm not that into football or anything, or many sports, or soccer from our end.
No,
so I was like, I can't.
I will still call it football, if only because I've got plenty of friends who are big EuroLeague and Premier League fans, and I follow a variety of sports for no other reason than shit posting.
Yeah, fair. There's plenty of that in sports, but it was one of those. I enjoy playing. I enjoy sports and all that. I just don't study it. So it's one of those. And then I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And then it was at a point where I just felt unfulfilled, if you will. So I thought, right, I'll kind of quit. I was at a young age where I could I'll quit this and pick something else up. And I thought, I've always enjoyed like the idea of acting and that. I'll try doing acting. So I did. So I picked up a course in college for theatre studies and performing arts and that, and I really enjoyed it. It was scratching an itch for me I didn't know I had. And then turns out becoming an actor is a very difficult thing.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, again, I don't think I had the right mentality when I was younger of I need to work hard and do these things. I think I was very much impatient of, well, no, it didn't happen in the first week, so it's never going to happen. It was a very toxic trait that I'm getting better at, like not having to do with it. But I understand now that hard work pays off. But again, it's like, I don't think I was passionate enough to really chase it, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I was stuck in a slump working in like a few part-time jobs in like a betting shop and all that, and it's just, I hated it. And then I had a relationship that was breaking down, and then I thought, you know what, stop it. As a form of, like, let's say, therapy, I got back into drawing, and I realised that how much I love to illustrate and how much I love telling stories. And it wasn't I realised it wasn't the acting that was scratching that itch for me. It was a way to tell stories. That's what was really ticking a few boxes for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to write a children's book, and then I had a friend who was a full-time illustrator, and I thought, oh, right, I'll go ask him for advice. Said I'm getting back into it. I reconnected with him, and he said, like, come to a convention, see what it's like, see if you enjoy it, see where you go from there. So I went to this convention called Thought Bubble, and that was the first book convention I've gone to, and I loved it. It was a great atmosphere. I was seeing all these amazingly talented people. I was like, that's inspiring. It was like, it really lit a fuse. So I decided, right, I'm going to pursue this. So my friend said, like, I did this course for illustrating. So I applied for that course. I managed to get in. And I did the thing of starting a bit later. I think I was like 23 at that time. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh my God, right, I'm going to start this course with people that were going to be so much better than me. So I had to really spend this next like few months like just hammering in and getting good at my craft. So I spent that time, I was like in like hyper focus mode for that whole summer, just like really developing my skills, learning what I could. For me to like, it was a funny experience for me, because I got to this course, and then it was a wide range of skill levels, a wide range of abilities of people want to do. There were people on that course that picked it because they didn't know what they wanted to do. They just thought art would be an easy thing. Mm-hmm. So they couldn't actually draw. So I was like, oh, right, okay, I over-prepared, if you will. But it was good because it helped me get to that mentality of, like, I need to work at this, which is something I was always lacking in all my other pursuits. And, of course, with this, I meet like-minded individuals. I meet people, new experience of that. I come from a very small town, so I'd say the nerd side was very limited. Like all my brothers are into sports and that. There were a few games and all that, but it was mostly, there wasn't any like D&D or tabletop RPG circles. It was a completely alien thing to me.
Yeah.
So when I got round to university and I was studying illustration, I was sharing halls with all these wonderfully amazing geeks, and they played D&D, and I thought, oh, I've never played before. So they showed me how to play, and I was like, oh, this is good. So I did the absolute white bread thing of the first ever character I did is a human fighter, and he's a hero, and he's always going to do the right thing. And it's like not a character I would play now, because like you've got to. It's always interesting to have a character with flaws and thing, but no, I played a character thing, and it developed like there was this new itch that I got from acting. And I got from illustrating. It was that storytelling, because for me, D&D was always intimidating for me, because I thought, oh, you need to do all this math, you need to juggle a load of different things. Like, no, you just sat around with your friends telling a story, and every now and then you roll a dice, and it's just a lot of crazy fun.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, cool, yeah. So and then I was playing with the idea of, I quite like creating these stories. I'll have a go at DMing, and then I did some like YouTube searches and that, and then I found other things that actually performed it. So it is the basic bitch thing of I learned from Critical Role. Like I discovered like Critical Role Campaign 2. So watching it, I was like, oh right, I love this. This is great. It was something I'd listen to while I would work. So I hammered through it, and I became a fan that way. And it just made me just want to like create these stories and play with my friends and that. Mm-hmm. And I found when I was creating these stories, writing these mechanics, setting all these things up, I just really enjoyed the process, and I enjoyed playing it. And it was scratching all these itches of acting and everything. So it just felt right. And also my background in comics as well. I've done a few comics. And so it's kind of like barrel there. My day job is a workplace designer. So I create 3D visuals of office spaces. So it's somewhat creative, but it doesn't give the buzz like drawing fantasy art and all that does. But it pays the bills and I enjoy it, so it's one of them. And then this illustrating stuff is very much part time.
Yeah,
I'd love to spend more time on it, but I also want to pay my bills. So like, it's that I like to eat.
Yeah. I can understand the whole coming from a small town, because I hopped around small and medium towns most of my life, and in every one of them I ended up starting a tabletop scene back then. Like for a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, I'd like to try, but I can't get a group together." And I was the type going, "Screw it, I will make the group myself."
Yeah, I will be the group. No, that's a great initiative, because it needs that one person to be like, right, this is what we're doing. This is how we set it up, because it's very, again, if you are from them small towns, it's an intimidating thing to get into, and you're like, well, people, if I set this up, will people want to do it? Will like-minded people? So it was interesting for me to start uni and meet these different types of people and be like, oh, there's loads of us.
I do think I had a bit of an advantage because of the fact that a lot of people that I would start with had a lot of interest in board games. You know, board game night was a consistent thing, including some of the classics, which does mean that people got tortured with Jenga, because I firmly believe Jenga should be considered a form of torturing non-combatants.
Yeah.
If you've seen late game Jenga, you know exactly why.
Oh, definitely.
Oh.
It's to be fair, we're talking about like the people, like you find these people who do play D&D, who are into these things. I'm a firm believer that the people who should play D&D or should give it a chance are the people who've never heard of it, or the people like, oh no, I don't know what that is, or I don't want to play it, or they're the ones who enjoy it the most, I've found.
I have had the most, as much of a chagrin as it has been to some of my colleagues, especially the more grog of my colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
I have found the most success when it comes to getting people into tabletop by appealing to the weebs and appealing to the comic book nerds, but basically taking advantage of fandoms that people are already in and showing, here's how you can do that in tabletop form. Like if I were to go into a room full of Trekkies, I'm not going to try and get them to do D&D. I'm going to get them to do Star Trek Adventures. If I'm going into a room with a bunch of Roman Empire fans, I will present to them Lex Arcana. If I go into a group of folks who are already Lord of the Rings fans, I won't use D&D for that. I'll use like the One Ring or Merc, and present it in a way that kind of gets past this idea of that even with how open tabletop is, we still have this narrative going about it being this complicated thing that requires a lot of math. Whenever people
Oh,
bring
yeah,
up a
especially-
bad
well-
thing, I always say,
Yeah.
"Do you know PEMDAS? Yes, you're good."
Yeah, there's apps that do everything for you now as well. So they literally just have to. That's how I appeal to the people who are intimidated to play everything. It's like it's just sitting around with your friends, telling a story and having a laugh.
Yeah, I remember one person who had said, "I'd like to try, but I'm not sure if I'm that creative." I'm like, "I've seen you at campfires. Do not even try that."
Yeah, yeah. It's. I think it's very easy for people. You almost see it when it clicks for them when they're new and they're like oh this is all it is. It's like oh this like they'll roll that d20 or they'll have a really clever idea
Yeah.
when speaking to an NPC and you see it like spark in their eyes like oh this is it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the game. This is thing. It's just a wonderful thing to see.
I think with one of my acting groups that I was in, I broke that out because we were stuck waiting at the airport because our flight got delayed. We were going to be there for about 2 hours, so I was like, and I always have the box set or something like that, just so I have something to read to pass the time because I am that type who will read RPG books, even if I'm not playing, just as a straight up hobby.
Yeah, that's cool. Like it's good to take in those. It's a way of gaining inspiration, really.
Yeah, and if you're going to steal from the best.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll break out certain games whenever I hear the line about it being too complicated. Some of the more well-known games being quote unquote too complicated. Usually, I will point to my copy of Hero System and say, "Don't make me break that out."
Yeah.
I like Hero System, but at the same time, I'm not going to be running it anytime soon because that thing is too damn big.
Yeah, you'd need some diehard players for stuff like that, and it's getting people together to play games every now and then. As adults, it's so difficult. Like I'm currently in a game now, and we're lucky we play at least once a month.
Yeah,
and once a month is like good going.
Yeah, it's easy and difficult at the same time. I think I've had an easier time than some, simply because of my reputation. Like with one that I'm going to be doing, hopefully, first quarter next year. I build it as Castlevania inspired, and since some of the people involved are fans of Castlevania, they're like, "I want in on that." I'm like,
yes.
And
again, that's appealing to people with an existing fandom of.
And I don't want to make it sound like I'm like I'm pulling one giant con job, but I have cited the 2001 version of Ocean's 11 as one of my favorite movies, so there is that.
That's fine. I think it's a great way to get past the intimidation side of it. Is like present them with something they're familiar with, present them something that can get them excited. Then they relax a bit more as players or as content enjoyers, if you will.
But it is relatively easier because of LFG sites and things like paid GMs being a thing.
Yeah, definitely. There's saying about the appealing to like fans and all that and all that pre-existing things. There's some conventions I will now avoid, like the Plague exhibiting at. Just because, like, I've been to one before. It was MegaCon in Manchester, and the people were surprised to see comics at a comic convention because they weren't there for they were there for the weebs. They were there for their anime stuff. So that literally the only things that would sell wasn't any of the original content I made. It was like fan art of something I've done, but literally I had someone walk past the ring saying, "Oh, comics." It was like, yeah, we're at a Comic-Con. What are you expecting?
Yeah, and I had a story brought to me by my good friend Vincent, where anytime that he would bring up some of his games to actual tabletop cons, he'd get people turning up their heads saying it's too anime. So he would show it at anime conventions instead. And honestly, with Legend Edition, I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably go to like VGM Con, which is all about video game music. Here where I am. But
yeah, it's interesting to know your audience and see how it all works, because it's I'm leaning more towards tabletop content now, just because that seems to be the thing that's selling best for me.
Yeah, and I've had the approach of something akin to a tailor. In the sense that if you go to a tailor, you're trying to get a particular suit for a particular occasion in a particular style. And I think one thing that I've tried to emphasize away from people is there is no one game to fit everything. Much in the same way that there's no one video game for every occasion and every audience.
Yeah, it's a bit of that look of finding, like, when I was tabling at Fort Bubble this year, there was very specific of there was two types of buyers. The ones that have never touched D&D or any type of tabletop RPG, so they didn't really know what they were looking at when they saw my work, compared to the people that they play these games all the time. It instantly grabbed them. It was like, oh, I recognize this. This is good. And but we also cheated in that sense of my wife created a 3D mimic that you could put your hand in and get a lucky dip with a dice. And we go, like, if you buy one of my books, you get to dip your hand in there for free. So we tried to appeal to the dice goblins as well. So, but having a mimic on my table, that was something that people instantly recognized. So they knew exactly what they were getting when they came to my table. So it's interesting. Whereas people who didn't know what the mimic was, they didn't really know what they were looking at on my table, in the sense. So it was like, oh, these comics, oh no, they're games. Like, oh, but then they become intimidated in the sense of, like, I'm not going to look at this because I don't play tabletop RPGs. I wouldn't know how to play it.
Yeah, and I have in some of the reviews that I've done, I go out of my way to explain how a given game works or how character creation in it works, just to kind of alleviate that issue.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Since a lot of times it's much easier to handle it than I think people realize. Once they get past that narrative of it being this esoteric thing where angels fear to tread.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think again, like you said, like it always needs it. It just needs that, like, at least one person who's done this sport, is experienced and knows what they're doing, just to guide someone. For them to just say, hey, look, no, this is actually really easy, or this is really simple.
Yep. And guidance is a big thing in a lot of the discourse I write when it comes to tabletop. It's the reason why when I've done reviews or the deep dives like I do for Valley of the Judged, it's less about how good a game is and more about who I'd be willing to recommend it to. And the games that get lower on the overall grade are the ones that have too many asterisks.
Yeah.
Or in some cases, in order to make it work, you'd have to do a bunch of house ruling, which I'm fine with house ruling, don't get me wrong, but at one point does house ruling become does it cross the threshold into you being a backseat designer? Is the question I always ask.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's particularly with one of my books.
I call it
Oh, sorry, go
the
on.
paradox.
Yes. No, I get it. There's the way I, at least the way I think I work, is essentially I'm going to assume anyone who's picking up my book is quite new to it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Swan
Mm-hmm.
and world and that, but
sorry, there seemed to be a bit of cut out because Discord decided to mess with us. You still there, man?
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. You do sound a bit different.
My headphones playing up. Sorry, 1 second. Why would they suddenly stop working? Sorry, give me 2 seconds.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could not tell you why that should. I didn't do anything different. My headphones just decided to work.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sorry. What bit did we get up to?
But yeah, I completely lost the train of thought there. But
yeah,
one of the obviously with something like this, I'm outside looking in regarding Thought Bubble, but was this a case of just an idea that came to you while you were at the convention one day?
yeah. Well, I wanted to kind of beef up the table a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't need to. I just thought I did the very toxic creative thing of see if I can create this. This convention's in a month's time. Let's see if I can make it. I gave myself no time to create this thing. It was more of a challenge to myself. But I like the idea of what if I created this? What if I created a tabletop RPG that was set at the convention itself? So, for a backstory of the convention, they have volunteers called Red Shirts. Comes from the whole Star Trek Red Shirts thing, but
yeah, he's dead.
It's yeah. So they're volunteers and they just go around helping exhibitors, helping visitors. They're like bit unsung heroes, if you will. And then I just thought I was playing around with the idea and I thought it'd be really funny if this catastrophic event went down, but because they were volunteering at this convention, it was down to them to save it because they'd volunteered.
Second, my headphones. Can you still hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is there any backlash with the sound?
No.
Okay. Good. Right. Yeah. My headphones have decided to just give up on me. My apologies.
Yeah. No worries. I've played things by ear before. I've interviewed somebody who was using a satellite phone once.
Oh, nice.
A satellite phone.
But,
had to use Zoom in the process, which was the unfortunate part of it.
Yeah. Oh, nightmare. Hopefully it's not thrown it off too much.
No.
But yeah, so I like the idea of these volunteers. It's up to them to save the world. So the whole premise of it is an AI artist has applied for Thought Bubble, and they got rejected because they're trying to sell AI heart. And to counter that, they've decided to 3D print an AI-generated Necronomicon and kind of unleash all hell at the convention centre as revenge. So it's up to the Red Shirts to try stop them and gather all the lost pages of this Necronomicon, bring them together so they can stop them.
Which almost sounds like a story I'd hear out of like Red Dwarf or whoever or
yeah.
or something out of the Cornetto trilogy.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
It's played. The way I've designed this one, it was a quick one, so it was very much this was to be played. You didn't have to do any role play for it, but if you wanted to, you could, and that was fine. But when I've played this in the past, I've gone very narrative heavy. I've played characters and all that, but it's more of a there's more mechanics than story on this.
Oh yeah, I could certainly get that. And
Yeah.
it is somewhat amusing that when I looked at the layout for, say, Hall C, and I'm pretty sure this is the layout of the actual con, but it lays out nicely with a more Chutes and Ladders style of board game, with how the pathing is set up.
Yeah. So especially with the puzzle section, I wanted to do it where it was again take out the intimidation of people, because it was a comic convention, not a tabletop convention I was going to. So I knew the majority of people wouldn't have experience playing these things. So I wanted to present something that was very easy to pick up.
Yeah, I could most certainly see that. And
Yeah.
Since you brought
go on.
Since you brought up puzzles, that brings up an interesting thing, since the idea of introducing puzzles into dungeons or the like has always been controversial, to say the least.
Really?
Like, there's some people who feel that in doing so you could make a puzzle that's too difficult. Some people are like, it's not worth the risk. That's why you don't see as many puzzle sections in a lot of dungeons, because what might be a simple puzzle could be the adventure game Wheel of Madness to others.
Oh yeah, because as I've been in before, where as a player we've overthought something, where it was a simple color puzzle, but then we focused on the wrong aspect of it, of a narrative point. And we was like, right, so at this time, the crescent moon is in this position for this shape. But no, it was a colour puzzle. And we just, at one point, the DM was like, just, look, focus on the colours. Completely misread it in that sense.
Yeah. And are you familiar with the adventure game Wheel of Madness?
Not at top of my head. I might have seen it.
It's more of a reflection of how ridiculously handbrakey puzzles and adventure games can get, whether it be King's Quest or other adventure games. It's probably the reason why there's the hint button in every adventure game Sierra ever made back in the day.
Yeah.
Where the solution to some of them is so obtuse, you'd end up thinking, how was I supposed to figure that out without a guide?
Yeah. Oh yeah, back in day of playing games and there being no guide for things, where now you could just Google the hints and everything. But back then, there's some convoluted things in, say, Demon Souls, the remake.
Mm-hmm.
Of a puzzle door where you needed to get certain. I think you needed to get certain coins, but you had to be. If you're familiar with Demon Souls mechanics,
yes, I am very familiar with Souls Likes and their predecessor Kingsfield, but that, as bad as that puzzle is, as far as some of the adventure game nonsense, that's like a 2.
Yeah.
I think one of the more infamous ones for me, and a source of both childhood trauma and rage, was the tile puzzle in the Egypt section in Hexen 2, where you had to go.
Not familiar with that one, but
You had to go across a certain
think,
pathway, and the pathway would always regenerate. And if you got it wrong, you went right to the start and had to guess at it again.
It's a bit of RNG Jesus there.
Yeah, and
it's
RNG.
I think something we've
save.
Yeah, oh, joy. I think something we've kind of lost with now we can Google everything and like, oh, this puzzle is difficult, is that if that like schoolyard talks of like, I'm really struggling on this boss, or in like the Ocarina of Time, like, the water temple, like talking about, oh my god, yeah, I got lost at this part, like it kind of created that like camaraderie of like, how do we solve this? Or I remember years ago, like even like the Pokemon games,
yeah, several streamers will have a thing of no backseating, so that when they're playing a game, they are trying to get as close to that experience as they can. It is funny you mentioned the water temple, because Miyamoto publicly apologized for it multiple times, and if you play the water temple in any of the more recent re-releases, it's nowhere near as bad.
Yeah. Even like quality of life with how the game plays in general. But yeah, I've got a friend who I don't particularly enjoy playing games with, like multiplayer adventure games with them, just because he'll have a habit of he'll blitz the game. When he gets it, he will play a game to death and then play it with friends, like single player, then play it with friends. And it'll be like when you pick up and play with him, you're experiencing this game for new. He's like, right, we need to go to A, to B, to C, to D. You're not experiencing it. You're just following this path that he already knows.
Yeah, that was the thing that I hated dealing with whenever I would do raids in any MMO I played in the last 20 plus years.
Yeah, I different breed. I'm not built to do raids or all like that. I only did one raid in Destiny, and that took us a full day to do, and it was like, I'm not built for this.
Yeah, I'm not as big on raiding, mostly because of that one person who's always wanting to go with, okay, here's the way you're supposed to do everything. And when I was doing the Old Republic, there would always be one person writing spacebar in all caps to skip through all of the cutscenes.
Yeah, so it almost makes it monotonous. It stops becoming this adventure you're doing with your friends or this experience. It just becomes, here's a chore we got to do.
Yeah. So sometimes I will grab several keys for a certain game and to have everybody go into it completely blind.
Yeah.
Or these days, if I'm playing an MMO, it's mostly me getting a small party together and just screwing around in the sandbox instead of doing dedicated group content. Yeah.
It's almost like creating your own memories, creating your own adventure. It's not like this set path.
And the same thing applies whenever I'm using like Tabletop Simulator for board games, as well as laughing at the fact that there's always one person in the group who seems to, I don't know whether they owe money to the dice gods or something, but they seem to be the one who always gets singled out. No,
with the bad rolls.
Yeah, everybody rolls fine except for this person who the dice god said, fuck that guy in particular.
But I see, but that's why I like when I play D&D or anything, is like some of the best moments could be from these horrendous rolls. There was in the current game I'm playing, after being a DM for a bit, I just wanted to not think, so I played a barbarian. I was like, yep, I'm going to hit things. I was so lazy with it. I was a barbarian with memory loss. Because I didn't want to think. I just wanted to play and enjoy it. And it's become this... He's really become an interesting character now because almost the character development came from playing.
Yeah. Oh.
But there was a whole moment where there was a Oh, the name of them have left. The name has left. We're stuck in this this like acid cave thing with this automata.
Mm-hmm.
But the DM did this thing with making it quite a cute thing. But it was this big hulky thing, like think Baymax.
Mm-hmm.
And my character was like, it can go in the acid. It's not going to get hurt. It's fine, guys. We can do this. We don't need to go in the acid. So I was trying to like convince this automata. It did get hurt. It did get damaged. But I was like, but it's not alive. It's not a fit. It was a whole thing. So my character tried to convince this thing to like go in the acid pool and get all these magical items for us. And I rolled a 1. So instead of it like understanding, like I was like pointed like go in there, it grabbed me and threw me in there.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
So my character was just in this acid pit, and I just thought, fuck it, I'm going for these things now.
Yeah, one of my first ever characters was a thief, but I had told my GM, I do not want to do the sneaking about and disarming locks and all of that. I want to make traps that would be the kind of thing you would see in an old Chuck Jones cartoon.
Oh, nice.
One of them, and I've told the story plenty of times, is a rune trap that was called the up button.
Go on.
It is called that because when the trap is set, if someone steps into the area where the trap was set, they go up. As if they cast fly on themselves straight upward at about 40 kph for 6 seconds. End of campaign, we're dealing with a dragon in a cave lined with adamantite. Now the lining of the cave, that is important.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon steps on the trap, the GM goes, alright, he hits the ceiling, then he comes back down, and I said, no, it hasn't been 6 seconds yet. The spell does not care. Because remember, this is adamantite, which does not budge for anything. Not even other adamantite. So when you have a unstoppable...
He was just getting crushed.
Yeah, the dragon got crushed to death.
But again, you've got to... I think it's always important to reward players if they come up with creative ways to tackle a situation. Because it may not always be the way that, like, if there's an encounter or a puzzle and then the player completely disregards the way I planned for it to go, but it was fun and creative, that's the new way of doing it. That's like, there shouldn't be there's no... I love the idea of there being no set path to do something.
And
because that's a beauty of DMing. Like, you don't... I've written the story. I know where it's going to go. I don't know how it's going to get there or how it's going to finish.
Yeah, a lot of times when instead of writing a story, I'll write tentpoles. The important I'll write out the important beats and then see where things go in between them.
Yeah, that's an enjoyable way to play. It's a good way. It takes like the pressure of like once things go off the rails, which they will.
Yeah. I think with the 7th Sea campaign, right in the middle of a town that was under siege because some of the people wanted to go independent from what's essentially that version of pre-revolution France. One of the players shouts "Vive la Revolution," and I could have just rolled with it, but I decided to make it into a moment and narrate it as everyone just stops everything that they were doing, says nothing, and then slowly turns towards you. As if to go, what the hell did you just say?
Yeah.
Because of course, "Viva la Revolution" is more of a Spain phrase. This is still liberty, equality, fraternity. So you just shout out something in Spanish in a very French town.
Yeah, but again, that creates a very laughable moment around the table, a very fun moment. So it's.
Of course, he played into it, acting as if his character had no idea why everyone was giving him shit.
Yeah.
But there's been those kind of things, or I think in one case I was running a module that had it that a treasure was cursed, and the way the module was written, the curse would just give you bad rolls. I decided I'm gonna have some fun with it, and I said, this ring will give you some stat bonuses that are pretty nice, but you have to do Yoda speak anytime you talk.
Yeah, love that shit. It's that's a good way to lighten up a table if people are nervous as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just like puts a thing like, guys, like, it's not a serious thing. You can just have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's we played when I first played. We played with a guy who he took it far too seriously, which is fine. But make sure you're playing with other serious people.
Yeah,
because there was a bit where they were talking to this kid, and this guy just said, I pulled a knife on this child, and it's like, what are you doing?
I usually write a primer before a major campaign. Within that primer is things like, okay, this is the game we're running, this is the system we're using, this is the kind of tone that we're going for. Here's some representative media to look at your own time. We'll be watching one of them as a movie night the week before we do session 0. Like, for example, with that 7th Sea campaign, before we did any character creation, I had everyone watch with me Master and Commander.
Yeah, so they'd get like what kind of character you want in that world, or what would work well in that world. Because
a good chunk of the campaign was going to be on a ship for long stretches of time, which is why I picked that movie in particular instead of going with something like Pirates of the Caribbean. That, and I wanted to avoid the obvious, but for
just a full ship of Jack Sparrows.
Yeah, but for a Ravenloft campaign, once I had the party watch Brotherhood of the Wolf. Still a pretty damn good movie. And kind of going into that particular theme. And
I've never heard of that one. I'll have to have a look.
Yeah, Brotherhood of the Wolf was a film that came out in 2001. It still holds up pretty well, though the CG that they used for the wolf, because it is loosely based on the story of the Beast of Jevadon, which is probably one of the earliest forms of what's now known as a cryptid.
I do enjoy a good cryptid.
Of this massive wolf-like monster that was supposedly roaming around the area of Gévaudan, France.
Yeah,
it's likely that the monster as described never existed. It was just a collective hallucination because wolf attacks were a problem at that time.
Yeah,
but
it makes for. I can't remember. There's a name to the theory. It's like what horror's always subject to its time. Like back in 2006, maybe every horror film was about zombies because that's what people were particularly scared of at that time, with like viruses coming out and all stuff. Or war horror films at a certain time during the Vietnam times.
Yeah.
So it's interesting and like at one point, I think during mental health crisis and all that, during now, it's like a lot of horror now is about mental health, about losing your mind and all that. It's just interesting to see where all these go. But I feel like horror films can be quite telling of the times of what people are scared of. So, yeah. Sorry, I got off track then, but back on track before I lose it. Have you watched Dog Soldiers?
Yeah. It's been been quite a while, but yeah.
Yeah, I love that film. That's a great use of practicals. You were saying like the CGI on the other film's a bit dodgy, but like practical effects, man.
This was a film that was made on a very small budget. Brotherhood of the Wolf was made on a small budget, and it's really only a couple times where it's an issue.
Yeah,
it's CGI that was of its time. Because keep in mind, 2001.
Yeah, no, of course.
2001, they didn't have a Hollywood level budget. Oh, you make do. But
yeah, put it on the list.
Yeah, I do recall at one point someone having a problem when I was running Lex Arcana, because Lex Arcana is this investigative focused take on this alternate history Rome, where Rome didn't fall at the time it did, survived about 110 years further, and established colonies in Britain, Greece, and Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And I had made explicitly clear when I wrote up the primer, do not make a combat-heavy character. Just because this is set in ancient Rome, do not think Gladiator, think X-Files or Fringe.
Yeah.
In terms of because the idea with Lex Arcana is you're playing as this offshoot of the Praetorian Guard that is tasked with investigating and handling supernatural threats.
Nice, yeah. I think that's just a smart idea to like say, hey, this is the kind of character that's going to be helpful for this.
Now, I had said, if you do that, I'm not going to stop you, but you have been warned. And sometimes if somebody really pushes it, then they end up having to, at my tail, they end up having to do the punishment game. Which, the easy way with the punishment game is you have to drink a bottle of bacon soda.
What, in real life?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
BACON soda.
Yeah.
And it is basically what would happen if someone mixed bacon grease and club soda. It's absolutely disgusting.
I can imagine.
The other option is the pain glass, which is even worse. It is a shot glass filled with water, salt, sea salt, pepper, black pepper, Tabasco sauce, sriracha, tiger sauce, and da bomb.
Oh, nice.
Sometimes I'll mix up the hot sauces, but basically there's like 5 different hot sauces in one thing.
I mean, if you put the bomb in anything, well, that's just going to ruin it.
Well, if I'm going to call it the pain glass, I got to deliver.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes somebody will slam the thing and go, oh, that wasn't that bad. And then I tell them, wait about 20 minutes, then we'll see.
Yeah, it'll grow. Yeah,
they gotta go to the bathroom eventually.
Didn't one end it will the other.
Mm-hmm. And one of the people who thought it wasn't that bad, then they end up going to the bathroom, and I hear them screaming. And I would just knock on the door saying, "You need some extra TP in there?" And they're like, "Fuck off, man."
Oh, nightmare.
I'm not gonna hit a man while he's down. I'm just gonna kick him because that's easier.
Oh yeah, you don't want to go out your way.
No. But, and I tried to mix things up when it comes to these snacks at my gaming table. So it's not just chips or crisps all the damn time. I think a few times I'll cook in advance, like I'm doing the good old cookout, and sometimes I'll say, okay, the snack of choice this time is lemons, which I can handle lemons fine. Everyone else can't.
Yeah. I don't mind lemons. There's my nephew, he loves them. Like he could eat them straight up.
So can I. I just don't like peeling them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when it comes to that sort of thing with the tables, usually if somebody's not following the rules, they end up exposing themselves and getting run out. So I don't have to do all that much.
Yeah, I think bending the rules slightly is fine. It can lead to enjoyable moments in game, but I think if something like that's ruining the experience for the other players, that's when it's like, come on.
With my own project, I've seen a few people bring up these busted ass builds and try and put it forward like it's my problem as a designer, and I said, you can play that character if you want, but good luck finding someone who's going to play with you when you're acting like you're the protagonist.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
a self-correcting
an interesting. You can get interesting players in the sense of like they'll create a character who believe they are the main character, like, oh, this is it, but then it can go a way of their character. It's a character development for them to realize, like, oh, I'm not the main character in this, like, and that's fine. And it can be a really rich narrative experience for them if they lean it in that direction.
And I know Session Zero has been a recent thing in the discourse. I was doing that long before it was actually called Session Zero. I just didn't know that was the name of it. So I'd always spend a bit of time, since I try to be hands-on as a GM, with making sure everybody's on the same page and try and get
it just makes sense, really, doesn't it?
As well as I would often set up these cards that says the person next to you did blank in the past. Why? You know, kind of these prompts so that it's not just a bunch of randos. Since something I've tried to dodge as much as possible is the setup of you all meet in a tavern.
Yeah. Which I think new players, I think that's fine. But if you're experienced players, people who play playing, like, yeah, mix it up a bit. I think it's good to mix it up as a GM anyway, because you don't want to be telling the same story again and again and again.
I think with one instance, in fact, more than once I've done it as a in medias res. In one instance, I think it was for a G.I. Joe like campaign. The start of the campaign was as they were getting briefed before doing a Halo jump.
That's what you did for the Session Zero?
That's what I did for the Session 1. I told them but I did tell them in advance, the start is going to be you guys getting briefed on the mission before jumping out of a plane. The thing I didn't tell them is how high up they were going to be jumping. Occasionally I have used I've blatantly ripped off the framing device used in Mission Impossible. You know, being sent a message that has the briefing and then being told this message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Good luck.
Yeah.
And I think in one case I had said that the party was going to be infiltrating a castle, but I didn't tell them how they were going to be inserted. The insertion method was as they're being briefed, they look and go, why is there a giant trebuchet here? Oh, that's how you're getting in. What?
Yeah. It's I think having these these set, like, this is what's already happened, or this is how you guys have met, let's crack on with the story, because I think it takes out the it can be fine if the players are confident to, like, I've seen people make mistakes of, right, you're all sat at opposite sides of the bar, go, or the tavern. Like instantly putting pressure on them players to like, all right, we have to try to figure out how to speak to each other, and instead of like, this is how you did it, let's crack on with the story.
I think the last time I did the You All Meet at a Tavern, I did it right in the middle of the tavern brawl.
Yeah. And then it turns into you're all getting to know each other in a jail cell.
Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. And one book that I will always credit, and I think a lot of people should read when it comes to that sort of thing. Are you familiar with the book Blowing Up the Movies?
I am not.
That was a book by the same guy behind Feng Shui, and it is all about looking at different action movies and going, okay, how can we integrate some of this into our campaigns?
Okay, interesting.
And the other bit of inspiration I frequently cited is, and I'm not to dig too deep into me being a film buff, but have you ever heard the story about the bomb under the table?
Oh, that's ringing a bell.
That was
go on.
That was a concept that Alfred Hitchcock put up when it came to how you can take a mundane scene and add tension.
Yeah.
If you have a couple people at a diner who are just talking about random stuff, there's no tension. But if you have that same scene happen while the audience knows there's a bomb under the table, now there's tension.
Nice. It's there's some great fucking mechanics of like Hitchcock's gun. Is it Hitchcock's gun?
Chekhov's.
Chekhov's gun. Yeah. Shows how long it goes since I've done all this. I did. Have you heard of Joseph Campbell's 7 Basic Plots?
Yeah,
Yeah, that is a. It's a tough read because it's so large, and a lot of the times he repeats himself. But it is interesting if you're very much into your narrative base.
Mm-hmm. And I think that if you're trying to mix up and not go and not fall into some of the old habits like the You All Meet at a Tavern, that's one way to do it. I think I
think learning. I think that's great. Stick to like the basic stuff of like what's easy for people to learn, and then when people get a bit more confident, they get a bit more comfortable with what they're playing, then you're like, you all meet at flying on top of a dragon or something. Like, just get crazy with it.
Yeah,
because I think it makes it interesting for the DM as well, which is always important. Like, I think it's always good. Yeah, make the game fun for the players, but it's also going to be fun for the DM.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier about playing to fandoms that people are already familiar with. If I was to run a one shot of Legend Edition, I would just blatantly steal from the bombing mission in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
because it gets people right into the thick of things. There's that holy trinity of goal, stakes, and urgency, which any good plot requires those 3 elements. And
definitely. Oh yeah, sorry, go on.
And it's a setup that can be set up and followed through pretty I won't say quickly, but efficiently.
Yeah. There's I think there's a bit of a light manipulation going on sometimes, in the sense of so during one of my books, Red Mirror Chronicles, the players are tasked with a ship has got sick, and it's up to the players who are hired mercenaries to protect the ship to figure out why is everyone getting ill. Like, we should go to this great healing tree to try to figure out, for them to find out the tree is also sick with the same thing. It snowballs into this whole thing. But what I do with the NPCs, there's certain NPCs that it's gone different for each time, because I wait to see which of the NPCs the players start to care about. One of them's a Dragonborn Cook is very polite and well mannered, and just very likable.
Mm-hmm.
And the other characters are these two twin orcs, and they're very light-hearted and humorous, and you're like, oh yeah, these guys are fun. So depending which character the players relate to the most, or they kind of attach themselves to, they're the ones that get sick. Because you see a player, I watched a player suddenly like really get into the story, and it was like, oh my god, we need to. It became real for them in the sense of like, one of the brothers got sick, and the other brother was like begging the player to like, you've got to save my brother, please. And like, they got a bit teary-eyed, and I was like, oh god, no, sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry. And it's like, no, we've got to find this cure. And it became a very like, now it means something.
Mm-hmm.
So using the characters as a platform to like make the players care about what they're going to do, rather than the simple like, oh, do this, you're going to get riches and gold.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and that's admittedly, I've also not to put myself on a pedestal, but when I was writing a kind of adventure framework for the Legend Edition project, I had done this 4-act structure because I noticed a pattern when I was defining what a console style RPG is. I don't like the term JRPG. I've spoken about that in the past.
Yes, fair.
And it comes down to going all the way back to the original Dragon Quest. There is this pattern of town, field, dungeon, repeat.
Yeah.
And I'd use that as a basis to create a 4-phase structure called preparation, exploration, encounter, and downtime, which fits naturally with the 4-act structure known as Kisho Tenketsu: introduction, development, twist, conclusion. There are a few games I can think of that do that kind of act structure. Storyteller's done that for years, and Legend of the Five Rings had setup, focus, and strike. As a framework that you can use in a small scale and large scale approach.
Yeah.
But now with that kind of thing in mind, I feel like everybody who's done a bunch of TTRPGs over the years has certain ones that are their white whale, like that one that they want to run at some point, but circumstance just hasn't allowed for it yet. Have you ever had one of those?
There's plenty of like massive board games that I want to play, but I haven't got around to playing them. But in terms of like wanting to play a certain system and that, I don't know if they call it egocentric or like, if I'm gonna run a game, it's usually some homebrew stuff or like D&D. It's never. I don't know if it's a bad thing, but I don't tend to look at a lot of other people's work. So I wouldn't say there is that white whale of, oh, I really need to play this, or I need to think. I know there's certain elements that I'd want to bring into a game, or branch out more and study like I'd love to do a very Lovecraftian heavy game, maybe like Call of Cthulhu or something. But yeah, in that sense, I think because I with working full time, I don't get that much. I don't have that much time to really dive into learning other mechanics and that. So I'll stick to what I know, or I'll know how to play, or I know how to create, just because it's easier for me time-wise.
Mm-hmm. That is.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if that's a cop-out answer.
No, it's not like I go into these with a plan for a specific answer, anyways. But I could see that, and I always ask that as a general thing, because some people have one that they'd want to try, others not so much. Based on what, truth be told, Call of Cthulhu isn't the one I'd have recommended to you first, based on what you've told me.
Yeah, no.
I'd probably recommend instead looking at Trail of Cthulhu.
Yeah, I'll make a note of that. It's again, I don't know. I try not to. I haven't like ran through or played other stuff just because I don't know. I really enjoy the process of making a story and making the mechanics of a game or a puzzle or a narrative beat. So I try not to like take from other things. Really, I should. I don't know why I don't do it. Because I've got a read pile or to like go through pile that's so high. It's just finding the time.
Mm-hmm. I can certainly get that. Now, with all that said, I do want to give my congratulations to you for managing to get Rise of the Red Shirts funded. With only
yeah. To be fair, it was only because the book's done.
Mm-hmm.
It was only a small like print run. I wasn't £100 for it. Wasn't thing. I've done about 7 campaigns now.
Yeah, and it's not that big of a book. This is zine sized, honestly.
Oh yeah, no. I wanted it to be like you could pick this up and play it within an hour.
Mm-hmm. Especially if it's built around a convention, you'd probably want it something that you could pick up and mess around with at a convention.
Yeah, I wanted it to be because basically they have loads of volunteers, and they tend to like when they're not working, they tend to have a walk around and have a look at the thing. And I wanted it to be that, and it was successful in that sense. I wanted to be that table of like people in a red shirt would come up saying, "I heard there's a book about us."
Yeah. Oh.
So I got a few sales on the fact that like I want to buy this book because it's about me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was creating that. I just wanted to see if I could do it. Because a lot of my ideas come from a little spark or I'll have an idea for something. It'll just be one little game mechanic or one little puzzle or one little story beat. And then I tend to build around that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that's quite an enjoyable, let's say, challenge to figure out, right,
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of like this happening. How do I get it to get to that point? How do I resolve that point?
Oh yeah, I can most definitely see that. But with that said, I do want to sincerely thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come all the way to my monastery and enjoy the madness that happens here.
Yeah, appreciate the invite. It's a lovely monastery.
Mm-hmm. And anytime you see fit to return, the door is always open. As I often say around here, drinking is not mandatory, but it is encouraged.
I'm recovering from being ill, so I'm just sticking to water. But definitely next time, definitely have a beer.
Yep. And of course, a sincere thanks goes out to everyone who took the time out of their schedule to come onto the show and enjoy the madness. And there will be plenty more where that came from, as there always is here, on the open bar of the internet. But until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra, I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody.
moment